Hey, so we're kind of winging things a little bit tonight. We have Eric, who had said last week that he wouldn't be able to be with us. Eric plays the amazing Aarakocra, the flying or flaming phoenix, depending on whether or not Blaze has set him on fire. The individual who causes, well, we thought lots of trouble with all his drunkenness and his antics. Well, that was right up until we got a paladin with us. You know, paladins are usually those party killers. They always want to do good and other stuff. But when you hear a paladin say things are just going too smoothly and then totally destroying like the great role playing of the entire night, you know you have a really good role player with you, because you know what? Man, that's just letting it all hang out. And all hang out and come out, it later did. We left off last week with our players in a basement letting out tons of gas. A sentient cloud. People had turned into rats. Other people were falling dead. It was amazing. And so we were looking forward to getting all 4 players together and find out what happens as they fight this literal stinking living cloud. But we can't do that with just 2 people. So we said, you know what? We knew with Eric not being here, we said we can get away with 3. But then Mike, who plays Den of Wolves, called up and said, my flight is delayed. I'm not going to be there on time. So, God bless, we wish Mike safe travels. But I came to these 2 players and said, you know what, guys? What do we want to do? Do you really want to do all this too and puppet and whatnot? That's a lot on the DM. And I'd be willing to do it because, you know what? You, our viewers, are worth it. And they all decided, no, let's do something different. But, of course, what they do, they threw it right back in the DM and said, hey, DM, run us a one-shot. Do, you know, something crazy. And I went, we can do this because they're worth it. So, tonight's Relic of War is going to be a one-shot. One-shot. We're going to pick up tonight in the city of Sharn. Sharn is a magical city in Eberron, the same universe where these guys are, except unlike being in the northwest corner of the continent where all of these individuals have been playing Relics of War so far, we're going to go to the southern central part. Here in Sharn, it's one of the magical zones where the laws of gravity are a little bit different, allowing them to build structures that literally soar into the sky over a mile high. Can you imagine a building able to stand like that? But not just one. Towers upon towers. This ancient goblin city that it was at one time has been taken over by humans, and it soars. And so now imagine buildings that high. It's pretty dark down at the bottom. And a class system has formed, where if you live at the bottom of the towers, you kind of live in that Judge Dredd society where it's kind of dirty, kind of messy, kind of slovenly. But those who are at the top, literally, just like heaven where the players are regularly, have a floating city skyway where the rich and the wealthy up there above the clouds are. Our story tonight, though, isn't going to be up in heaven where the other players have left off. Tonight, we're going down below, down into the south, down near the docks on the edge of the coast, where a ship recently docked and brought aboard some unusual passengers that had their own adventure. Our adventure picks up in an alley where 2 scrappy young things come out, called and commanded by their entity that they follow to hunt down these other individuals who are interlopers to the shore. These 2 mighty individuals aren't human. They're not elves or none of those other silly 2-legged things. No, these are the steeds, the mighty dogs, the hounds that will have to hunt down these vile felines that have come to the shore and struck down Puppy Thulu. These are the ones that will hunt down the traitorous Cat Thulu followers and bring justice to Sharn so that Cthulhu, or excuse me, not Cat Thulu, so that Puppy Thulu and all his other heirs might be reborn. So, walking into the alley, which dog comes first? And our players go, oh, holy crud. Yes, that would be you. You are the 2 dogs. You are the players in tonight's game. And Brock, your character enters the alley first. What does your dog look like?
Just a massive, ripped, muscular, like pit bull from hell looking beast.
Ooh, I like it. What color?
Teeth snarling like a like a midnight gray.
This midnight gray dog comes walking out into this alley ahead of you about 30 feet, having been sent by your lord and master. You can see the remains of one of his spawn. There before you is this white puppy laying on the ground in a pool of its own blood, shed recently. Behind you, you hear the click-clack of some other steps, the one that was sent with you. Verdic, what does your dog, your hound, look like?
So he'll be a long, slender, but muscular animal with a brown streaks around its eyes, around the back of its pointed ears, and it'll have kind of a fluffed up mane down around the collar and onto the breast, and it's more of a it's almost like a mix between a German Shepherd and like a Malamute type. So its tail kind of curls up, and it almost has like blazes around the fringes of the tail. So he's not quite as muscular as the dog in front of him, but he's slender and he looks like he's built to run. And he comes up behind him.
Clearly, your lord chose you for some special reason. What is that special ability that you are most known for?
The ability to understand intentions with other animals and other creatures.
And how about you, Brock? What is yours known for?
Pure destruction. Just latching on and not letting go until there's nothing left.
And what does your lord, your master, call you?
Go ahead, Russ.
Oh, he just calls me Shadow.
Oh, I was going to take that one. What I get for letting you go first.
So, who is the leader then? If he is Shadow and he followed you, what are you, Brock?
Stone.
Stone
Yeah.
and Shadow, the master's minions. You come into the alley, you see this puppy ahead. What's your first course of action? What do you do?
Look to see where it come from. What happened there?
You move forward, trotting forward, and you see a dumpster nearby. The puppy is lying in a pool of its own blood. You see numerous cat tracks going in and out of the blood. Part of this, its head has been ripped off. The jaw open. All these tentacles are laying on the ground out of the mouth. You know that your master, who is bringing this Cthulhu god into existence, was doing it by combining him through these puppies. He was literally birthing a god into the world. And it was supposed to be this magnificent new beginning. Cthulhu reborn in the world. But one of the puppies got loose. The one in which Cthulhu had chosen to live. According to your master, at least. And you were sent to find him. You knew that he was being hunted by felines. It was the last thing that your master said. Clearly, the felines got here before you. It appears that they have gutted him from underneath, across the throat, and left him dead in the middle of an alley, not even getting rid of the body.
So I can see, and there's clearly, it's done, it's over with. There's like no saving this one. So there's no sense I was going to reach out and kind of like nudge it, but I can see everything is all over the place. So I just begin to snarl my face and just kind of peer and look around, looking for my next target.
Well, at the end of the alley where it opens onto one of the main streets of Sharn, there are people there, and if you want to go destruction, you could take out your rage on them easily. There's plenty of places to have destruction. How about you, Shadow?
Shadow's gonna try to use his senses, his really keen senses, looking for any other traces that aren't from the puppy. We're going to try and see if we can figure out what happened.
As Stone goes over, was prepared to nudge the little puppy and checks that area, and you can hear his low growl. Shadow begins sniffing around, looking, and begins to pick up amongst the many tracks of an alley that's never swept out, some that are more recent, some that have that faint aroma of combat, when the testosterone and the other bodily things start to flow, when your enemy has fear in them and whatnot. You sense multiple cat creatures here. The tracks go all over. They go into the dumpster. You actually find what looks like a half-chewed sausage laying on the ground, kind of ripped apart, that smells like one of them. And you get this idea that there's 1, 2, 3, at least 4 of them were here, each with their own unique scent. Very different from one another. They don't smell like they're of the same litter. In fact, they smell like different species, you can tell. And it appears, since you're so insightful, that some of them were inside the dumpster, some hid behind it, and it appears as you follow it along, and Stone, you see Shadow move past you, and as he goes up towards what looks to be a wooden box, a crate that has been tipped onto its side. A quick investigation reveals that this box, this crate, has all the scents of these 4 felines that must have been sent here or brought here inside this box.
Shadow's going to kind of wince a little bit, trying to get Stone's attention.
Stone notices him. I walk over there haughtily. I catch the scent of it off the box. I reach down, I grab it with my jaws, and just start shaking my head as the box disintegrates. As I whip my head back and forth.
Shadow ducks his head, catches some of these splinters, and Stone smashes it against the side of the building until literally he's left with just a couple pieces of this long board in his jaw, the rest of it scattered around. And you realize that there's writing on the bottom of it. Now, you've been trained by your master to know many things. Did either of you ever learn any of the humanoid words? Or are you strictly... Shadow did? How about you, Stone?
Yeah.
Both of you can recognize that the writing on this that the humans have to use, because they don't have those animal instincts to be able to communicate without words. The same instincts that you and Shadow both share. This human, this crude way of communicating seems to indicate that it came from somewhere far to the south. You've seen the same word on the maps that your master has on his wall. It's a far-off land, a land that is supposedly where the giants came from. But the box looks far too small to have carried giants. The box could barely fit Stone inside it.
Before I smashed it.
Before you smashed it, yes. Now it will fit nobody inside it.
I'm just trying to see, peer under the dumpsters, kind of kicking around trash bags that are piled up in the alley along the side, just kind of smashing them with my shoulder, knocking them down, seeing if there's anything hiding around the area, anything still staying behind.
Stone starts walking over there, scraping this big piece of wood along the wall and whatnot till he gets over to the dumpster, starts nosing around, till eventually he realizes I can't fit the piece of wood behind the dumpster, turns his head on the side and all this other stuff. And as he does so, he ends up scaring out some rats, which immediately start running. Some scurry into the dumpster, others start heading down the alley and whatnot. These little targets flying along. Thanks, Verdic, for the shout-out. Thanks for that cheer. We appreciate the bits. You start flying along. Shadows up there at the end of the alley and whatnot, and somebody looks and sees the back of Shadow, who's been watching Stone do this in his own investigative way, and says, "Oh, look, a dog." And at just about that point, Stone, who's back there near the dumpster, nudges. He said he's throwing himself back and forth, ends up moving this massive dumpster with his shoulders. And quickly you see Shadow, you see this child grabbed by the parent, and they rush off quickly. The rats continue to scurry away. Stone, I'd like you to make an investigation roll.
Three. It's going to be a great night.
Stone's like, can't find anything, and with all your insight, Shadow, you recognize Stone's like just ability to like bash everything. And of course, as you're seeing him do this, where he's like, I got nothing, you're looking down at a chunk of fur that's literally sitting under his paw, and you're like, that might be something.
I'm gonna take that paw and I'm gonna reach down and kind of pull it out from under Stone and kind of present it towards his snout a little bit, push it along towards his front end.
You pull this out. I would like you to make a history check, Shadow, as you sniff this little bit of fur. Let's see what you can't find. Or actually make it an Arcana check.
Ooh.
What'd you get, buddy? Because we can't see anything.
It's a 3.
I said it's going to be one of them.
The master's secret intent was actually just to get rid of these two, because he's like, yeah, they failed somewhere along the way. I failed with them.
Brock's right. It's going to be a great night.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh.
I kind of wish I had a little screen up here just to show all the stats of what was that? I wonder if I could do that. You know what? I'm gonna take a moment here and I'm gonna get us a little dice rolls area.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
There we go. And let's do this. Add. I need glasses. Sorry. For everybody watching, yeah, as you get older, man, you can't necessarily see things. My kids couldn't see from the time they were born, but, for me, it happened when I got older. Display capture. Let's go in for some dice rolls. I think that sounds like a good idea.
And I'm going to apologize to everyone ahead of time tonight. For some reason, I've never in my life had allergies, but this past week, they've been
Wow. So sorry to hear that, brother. That is tough.
One day it just sneaks up on you. I remember years and years I'd never had a problem. I used to laugh at my dad. He'd double up on one allergy man with another and just shake my head and be like, man, I'm glad I don't have that problem. And then I guess I hit 34, 33, something like that, and just bam.
And that was it, huh?
Now I can't make it without it now.
There we go.
There we go.
He likes that. He's like, I got dice rolls now.
If that's what you want to call them.
They're laughter rolls. They're
more
rolls.
like soccer scores.
It's like I always say, we're just getting rid of the bad stuff first, and it's going to get better later.
Well, if we consider the way most things, we work up to that big, bad, evil guy, so that might not be a bad idea you got there. What I'm doing now is, if anybody's wondering, I'm just figured out we need some Twitch chat, because we need some of that Twitch love. I mean, I see Dara Mason. Am I saying that right? Because I know it's a combination of different things there. Is that close enough?
The Asen is a surname that we use fictionally. So, yep, that's it.
Reference. Boom. There we go. And let's get some Twitch chat in there.
Yeah.
Gotta have our Twitch people with us. We love them too much not to have them. Uh-oh, Raggy. I love it. That's about it, too. All right. That'll work. Beautiful. All right, so now we got some dice rolls. Now we got some Twitch chat going on. Let's get back to the game. The people outside the alley have been moving by. You've got this little bit. Your Arcana roll of 3 is you sniff this, and you realize where you scented this before, Shadow. This is something that your master has been using. And you have to actually give it a little taste to be sure, so you lick at the fur a little bit. This is something your master has been trying to graft in to one of his creations, but he was unsuccessful with it. Maybe somebody else was successful.
All right.
In the meantime, the alley, back where you had come in from the one end of the alley, farthest from the street, you had gone through some of the streets coming from where your master had you in, it would be politely called a house if it wasn't such a hovel, but your master uses it because it goes down into the goblin area. Well, here as you came through the alleys to where he had sent you, you passed by an open door. It had numerous scents, such as an inn might put off of, but again, an inn would be too kind of a term for these train wrecks of buildings that are down here at the bottom, where people just scrape by. This one door bangs open, and a man is tossed out into the street, rolls nearby, starts getting up to brush himself off, and in their human tongue, the large man tells him to not come back, that he can sleep out here with the rats. And a couple of those same rats go scurrying by you, running through the blood of Puppy Thulu and off towards the streets where the people are walking.
Stone immediately advances, and while he's down, like leaps up and like kind of hits his chest and just kind of pins him down, and like gets in his face and kind of snarls and kind of sniffs. Doesn't really sense any danger, so he kind of slowly backs off and then kind of nudges him to go ahead and get up.
As he does all this, Stone's like, right on top of the guy who's absolutely not only not a danger, he's terrified so much, he pisses himself a little bit. And then Stone nudges him to get up, and the man, half terrified, isn't quite sure what Stone's doing as he backs towards the door that he's just been tossed out of. And he puts his hands up a little bit and starts moving back, not quite sure what he should do with this snarling, drooling menace of a, super dog in front of him. The man's like, please, don't hurt me. Good boy.
Shadow's gonna... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Shadow's gonna kind of go around to his flank, and I'm gonna try and... I'm not gonna bare my teeth or anything, but I'm gonna crouch down, and I'm gonna get like this, and I'm just gonna shake my nose at him and be like... try to keep him kind of pinned in that corner there.
The man finds himself up against the door, flanked by two large dogs, somewhat terrified, and you can both see as he immediately starts urinating completely at this point. Terrified.
I was going to go up and kind of brush his leg, but it looks a little wet now, so I'm just going to kind of back away and just kind of toss my head to the side, back and forth like this, and turn my back to him.
You hear him, you see him grab his chest, and he's like, oh, Silver Flame, protect me. Silver Flame, protect me. And then Stone turns his back, looking up the alleyway once more. Shadow, what are you doing?
I'm just going to keep an eye on the guy while Stone's turning his back. I'm not going to move from where I'm at.
Okay, nuzzle right next to his leg. The man just keeps on holding his chest. In the meantime, Stone, the rats have now cleared out of the alley, and it appears that your presence, other than the dumpster being turned slightly from where you got behind it, has gone unnoticed. Well, I shouldn't say unnoticed because you cleared all the rats out of the alley, but nobody has come rushing in to come after you. In fact, the few humans that noticed Shadow earlier left. You're alone in the alley except for the P-man.
I'm sensing a theme in our storylines here. People can't control their
bodily functions, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Are you saying you want to fight Sentient P?
I'm gonna start heading down the alley, I guess, towards where the people are. Clearly, we haven't been able to find anything else in this alley, so let's step out and see what's going on in the neighborhood.
So Shadow, I see your head nodding yes. You're kind of cool as you hear him mentally connect with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree, and we're gonna move as one.
Shadow leaves the man behind, and as he continues to pray to the Silver Flame behind you, you hear him say, he opens one eye tentatively, sees you both walking away, and then proclaims loudly, Silver Flame, you work! Silver Flame, you saved me! I'll never drink again! He goes running off the alley the other way from which you guys originally came. For the moment, you've done some good. I wonder if your master would appreciate that or not. You get to the end of the alley, and following your sense and noses, you realize that these felines also stuck together just like you two. They seem to have stuck to the edge of the buildings, heading away from the docks, because again, you're right down near them right now, as if heading towards the inner city more. Do you wish to go deeper into the city and follow them as far as you can?
Yeah, let's follow the scent.
Yep, let's do it.
You notice something as you're following the scents. It seems like one of the scents keeps going off in search, and it takes a little bit, but with your high insight, Shadow, you realize it seems to be following food all the time. Hey, Des Not Locked, thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for donating to the Deck of Many Things so that these guys can be an absolute train wreck. Welcome, Fire Chick. Good evening tonight. Glad to have you here. Welcome, Wolves Dad. I just looked over and saw the chat happening, so just want to give a big shout out and love to y'all. We're doing a one-shot tonight where our two players are the hounds of, I don't want to really say hell, but hounds of something that is here to avenge the loss of a little puppy. They're going to go and take some vengeance, they think, on some felines, but they already know they're outnumbered because there's 4 felines and 2 of them. So, as you hunt
I don't think we're the ones outnumbered.
An
They
interesting
might want
thought.
to get some friends.
Yeah. I like it. So, as you head along, again, one of these felines seems to be almost addicted to food. The other one strays off numerous times into the street as if trying to pull the others along to go their way. You lose the scent a few times of that one, but it always seems to come back as if they don't want to separate one from another. At one point, you follow it as far as a building that is actually up another alley. And this is more beautiful, though. This one, the alley has been cleaned up. There's steps leading inside. And you recognize a door to one of those establishments where your master would bring you as guards once in a while. And inside, there's some of those silly human frolicking activities. I think they call it music and dancing or whatnot. But he'd had you wait outside. This place has all the similar scents, numerous people. And again, you almost lose the sense of these felines. I need you to make investigation rolls.
Hey, now we're talking.
Nat 20. And a 19. Wow!
We're
2
in sync
threes.
tonight.
Wow. As you guys start going over the steps, between the pair of you, you put it together quickly exactly what's happening. They were all here looking around, and then somebody here must have picked them up because the scent goes from right there present, all of them gathered around the steps, to suddenly gone. Now, you're not quite sure who immediately, but it's Shadow who keeps nuzzing around where they were until he realizes that a hand got placed on the ground. And it's Stone, actually, that bumps him over and says, there's 2. 2 individuals seem to have picked up these felines and carried them off. One is an elf, another a human. How do you want to proceed? You could go inside and try to terrorify some people and find out what they'll tell you.
Where's this doorway in the alley? About midway? Towards the beginning? Towards the end?
It's towards the beginning, probably about 15 feet in. The alley goes another 60 feet back.
Okay. I'm going to actually kind of charge down the alley a little bit, see if maybe the scent picks up a little bit further down. And then if not, I'm going to come back.
Okay.
And see if we can trace it inside.
Okay, while he's doing that, what are you doing, Shadow? So we get a simultaneous picture here.
I'm gonna try and use my my sense of smell to see if I can track down where both bodies went. Are they close together? Are they apart? You want me to do a roll on that, or?
Well, wanting to figure out what your intents were, because both of you are going to be doing investigation rolls. Brock's to see if he can track somebody down, and yours about whether they stayed together or apart.
Yep. Let's do that. There we go. Now we're breaking apart a little bit.
Blaze is absolutely positive that there's no sense down here. Whereas when you start sniffing Shadow, Stone's like, no, they're not down there. And he comes back and you start sniffing around, and you are fairly sure that the two individuals, the elf and the human, have left together. You follow it all the way back up to the alley. Now, again, you know the scent is also probably a little too old and faint to follow. You think it headed north towards where you can actually see in the distance one of the famed elevators that goes up and down, these floating discs that have individuals that control them. It could be that these cats were taken there, but you can't be certain.
I kind of slam into the door there and see if it opens.
Staying at the steps, you go back, bash yourself into the door. Go ahead and make a non-opposed strength check, man. Just make it straight out. You can, in fact, you can use, no, just make it strength. Don't make it athletics, just strength. You're just bashing. Door is solid, buddy. That door is solid. Yeah. It's not built to be opened by a mutt or street mutt.
Shadow's gonna kind of follow his lead, and I'm gonna attempt to do the same thing.
I just realized I gotta change the stream name. Street Mutts.
Street Mutts. Ooh. That's 17 out of that one.
Alright, let's update that information. Boom. There you go.
Stone loosened it for you.
Yeah. He's helped me out. He usually does that.
What's that? Our players. There we go. Boom. All right, that's updated. You come over, you come back down the alley, throw yourself against the door right next to Stone, bam, crack against it and whatnot, and the door appears still shut. I mean, after all, you're a dog's weight throwing yourself against the door. There's a resounding thud, and you both are standing there on the steps, kind of trying to figure out how you can get the door open when there's a click, a thrick, a smack, a tsh. Somebody unlocks the door and opens it up from the inside, looks and sees the dogs really quickly, and goes to close the door, like, you know.
I pounce. I'm shooting through the gap.
Make a dexterity roll. The door opens up, and bam, you're right at it.
Oh.
We're just checking for botches because you seem to have a lot of botches tonight, so let's see if you get caught in it. You go, bam, you get your muzzle right in there on your neck, and he's got you kind of pinched right up near the shoulders as he's trying to push the door closed, and you are just right at it, and you're scrabbling. You realize, are you snarling, growling, biting? What are you doing? Reaching around with your claws?
Well, I wasn't at the time, but as soon as I started crunching and pinching at my neck, yeah, I'm going to reach for any flesh I can get to.
Okay, make a disadvantage attack roll, straight melee.
Okay. What am I don't know what I'm hitting on that.
You can just do a straight strength because you don't have a weapon. It would be normally a bite weapon, but you're going to roll twice because you have disadvantage. Yep. Yeah.
4 is
Okay.
what it's going to be.
So, yeah, he's definitely staying out of reach. I mean, he's half terrified, but he's also unwilling to let go of the door because he knows if he lets go of the door, you're going to come in. And you're in this stalemate right now. And Shadow, you can see Stone wrestling against this door and whatnot. The man starts shouting for help. Help, wild dogs.
I'm
Stone
gonna dive straight at it into that gap that Stone's created.
The beauty is that Shadow, you are much slinkier than Stone. Jumping up onto his back, you start throwing yourself through the gap. We're only looking for a miss right now, so make a roll, a athletics roll. And this is basically just check if you botch, because otherwise you're going to slip right through. Luckily, we always honor the one. Literally, you would have slipped right through, with the exception that one of those chains that was hanging down when he unlocked the door wraps itself around this collar that your master's giving you, and you found yourself kind of hung up on top of Stone. Your rear leg's scratching into his back. Your front leg's half off as this thing is choking you, getting through. And the man screams even louder, lets go of the door, bolts and runs. Takes off at full tilt now that two dogs are coming through. And he starts running straight up. Stone, you have this advantage. You get out from under your partner really quick. Shadow, as soon as he does so, your weight gets you loose from the chain that's got you hooked. What do?
Scan the room.
Yep, check the room.
And you both have inspiration, thanks to Verdic. So you can either choose to use that when I'm assigning what's the D word? It's not disinspiration, disadvantage. To cancel it out, or you may use it on any of your rolls. Search the room. You're in a hallway, and clearly where the individual has gone leads up a set of stairs, or you can follow the main path with all the sense towards a main room. The place is quiet. It doesn't sound like there's anybody in here. Or you can sense there's food to your left. Oh, I'm sorry. I needed Stone to actually make a perception roll. Okay. That was what I was asking for before.
How long has it been since we ate last?
Your master usually likes to keep you hungry. Nice. Well, one of the things that you noticed, Blaze, while Shadow was on your back, was something moving off the corridor to your left. It was vaguely humanoid, and now that you're fully in the room, you realize again that same scent, that same area where there was food, that's where the person has gone, and there's a door that was open before and is now closed.
Is it the same thickness as the door we just went through?
No, this is an inner door, so it's probably more malleable to the right amount of trajectory force.
A little bit more distance.
Oh, you got a good 30 feet, man.
Oh, full speed. We're trying to take it off its hinges.
Yeah,
dude. So, Shadow, as you start coming loose of your chain, Stone does his usual thing, like rips in to this fine shag carpet that's been put here, literally tearing a rip in the rug as he launches down the corridor. Oh, do you make any barking sounds or anything as you charge at it, or is it just dead silent and throw yourself?
Grunting sounds, not barking sounds.
And when you hit it, is it broadside? Is it shoulder? Is it head first, like a battering ram?
I kind of duck the head and to where I can just plow it with those massive shoulders that I got. Just
boom. Make a straight athletics. Now it's straight athletics, man, because if you have your advantage on athletics or anything like that, man, add that in there and just barrel into this thing.
14.
You crash into this thing, smash. And as you do so, the door, which was literally just a swinging door, goes flying back, hits the wall. You come in and it fumbles back into your side. Doesn't hurt you at all, but snaps back as swinging doors do. Shadow, you see this. Inside, you see a man, an elf. Oh my gosh! And he quickly darts out the back. He's carrying a box in his hands.
Do I pick up a scent on this box?
You can take this action to investigate and sniff the air if you would like.
Okay. Yep. Investigate.
In the meantime, Shadow, what are you doing? Your buddy has torn off and run through this swinging door.
I'm following right behind him. I'm not going to leave him alone. I'm going to keep up.
Like a true shadow right on his heels. When the door hits him, you dodge around the other side. You're in this, so you caught sight of this elf leaving too. He starts sniffing the air. Shadow, with your insight and your gift, you don't even have to sniff the air. You automatically know exactly what it is. Whereas Stone might be a little bit confused by it. You're like, that's the cats.
Advance.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make it like a kind of a growler's grunt, that we're on the right track, and we're just gonna keep going.
The elf gets through a door. You go on one side of this preparation table, one dog on the other side. You meet on the far end like raptors coming in on the doorway as the elf is getting through it and trying to close the door. If you thought the swinging door was just simple, this one literally has louvers in it that you know you could break through.
Yeah. You know, we're going through it.
Moments later, where there was no hole,
open.
stone comes through, wood splintering off his claws as he comes into the room. The elf seems to be searching for something in the room, but of course the elf isn't your real focus. He's put down this box, easily the same size as the box that you found in the alley, perhaps a bit bigger. And in it, you can see eyes peering out from a couple holes, and one fat orange cat about the size of, I don't know, Shadow's jaw, because Stone's got a bigger jaw. This cat that maybe would fit inside of a human's hand. It's round, it's fluffy, it's orange, it's furry, and it's looking over the edge at you with eyes that seem as big as its ears in that moment, and then it disappears back into the box. As soon as it does, another cat jumps up on the edge, and whereas the first one was fat and round, this one's long and lanky. Instantly, Shadow knows with his insight that this is the smell, the same one that had that fur in the alley. Roll for initiative.
Oh, go ahead.
Roll for initiative. Because I'm sure somebody's going to do something.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
We know something's happening. Nice. 5s and 8s. You guys are consistent tonight. But I will give you this. I got a 6 and a 7, so. It appears everybody's having great rolls tonight. So, at the top of the round is Shadow.
I'm going in. I'm you know, forget the food, get the cats.
Is the elf right there with them?
Where you're all in the same room, the elf appears to be searching for something in a human desk.
I'm gonna go after that elf's ankle hard. We're talking leap, wide open mouth. We're gonna try and take him down.
You reach straight over. With advantage, you can make your attack melee roll on him.
Yes.
The way I see that going, since I'm going for the cats and he's going for the elf, I'm going low, he's going high, so he comes off my back through the air.
Leap right off of him, yeah.
Love it. That is what I'm talking about. That's role playing. I don't see a roll for you yet, buddy. Oh, there it is. Great. The problem is, as you leap off his back, you realize you were going for the ankle, and you're like, oh, crud. You try to put your head down at the last minute to get the ankle, and all you end up doing is smacking right into his ass and pushing him up against the desk. Epic scene. Just didn't kind of work out the way you thought. And you remember again, your master is like, many times, like, you seem to recall he was thinking about calling you, what was it, idiots before? You never understood the word, though. And Brock, you're going straight. Idiots, I like that. Idiots. You said you're going right in for the box and the attack on those cats.
Yeah. Whatever pops its head out first is just getting taken off.
Sitting right up on the top edge of it is this long feline. We would call it almost Siamese, except the colors are wrong. It's white and it's got bigger ears and big paws, and it looks old, and its whiskers come out and actually droop down as it looks with these haughty eyes down at you, and you come in straight for the attack. Go ahead and make your attack roll. I actually should have had mine too first.
This is what we've been trained for, correct? Is that what you said at the beginning?
This is what you've been sent for, not trained for. No, sent to do. Okay. You guys are his loyal steeds. You happen to know that he has some abilities that we shall say are magical and his own plans, and he uses you for everything from protection to sniffing things out to hunting things, and just intimidating others, which is really Shadow's main thing, or excuse me, Stone's main thing.
Okay, and what do you want me to roll?
in this case, you said you wanted to go in for an attack, right, on the cat. So go ahead and make your melee roll. Since we jumped over them in initiative, I'm going to say that he had a ready action for what he wants to do. You come right in, and as you do, your like jaws are open, and with his ready action, this cat comes in and does that whole cat thing, like whoosh, with its paw right on your snout, pushing your head down, and you hit the box full, pushing the box across the desk into the wall, and it's an exploding kittens moment as you push this box into the wall, and 3 kittens pop out of the box. This one agile old cat, having clawed you across the face, also does a strike against you. Now, each of you, Stone, you started with 3d8 hit points, and Shadow, you started with 2d8 or 2d10 hit points. Excuse me. You are 2 different breeds. 3d8, 2d10. You can roll those and record those on your own. You're welcome to share those in chat so that the chat knows exactly what's happening. Actually, I guess it'll pop up on screen if you do the roll there. But if you roll elsewhere, let everybody know. 12 and 13. Wow, Shadow, you actually came out on top on that one. No surprise there, huh? And this cat that had readied itself to defend. Oh, I rolled a 1. That stinks. Well, it's great for you. I just feel bad for the cat that had readied its action. And it lashes out, and as it strikes you, you get a sensation across your nose, Stone, that you felt in the air before. Magic. Literally, there's a sparkle and a numbness that goes across your nose as it hits you for 2 points of damage, leaving a scratch right down it and blood coming out. The cat, as it moved, leaps over towards the thing. The elf that has been pinned up against the desk by Shadow, tries to get his bearings. His hand actually got caught in the drawer. He yelps with excitement and tries to get his hand out of the drawer. And that brings us to the other attacks for the other 2. They're now in initiative. I'm going to put them with the other ones. The kittens scatter. The orange one, tumbling out onto the ground, runs under the desk. The grayish looking one dodges high and gets up, climbing onto a bookshelf up out of your reach, using its dash and jump ability. The 4th one jumps to a higher, not higher than the shelf, but to a higher bench, a dresser, if you would. That'd be the right term. Jumps up on top of a dresser. It could easily be gotten to by anyone that wanted to jump the distance and attack this, kitten that's probably about the size, maybe the size fully of Shadow's head.
So they're just little guys then, right? Like none of them are big.
Oh no, yeah, these are just normal. These are 3 kittens and 1 house cat.
That's so weird. I think I'm gonna try and pull down that elf. I'm not letting him go anywhere. He's going nowhere.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to. Yeah, the elf was making an opposed roll to
leg.
try and get into the desk. I forgot that. So we're just going to skip him and let you go ahead and make a grapple on his leg.
Yeah.
I will roll against you as he tries to get free. Ooh, wow, that was a surprise. I actually rolled well on that one. I was like, wow.
There we go.
He should really have disadvantage. I'm going to give him disadvantage. Yeah, the 2 is a much better option. You rip into his leg, start shaking him about, but as you do, without the weight on his back, his hand in the drawer comes free, and when it comes out, you can't see. Well, actually, neither of you can see this because Stone is focused on the cats, and you're focused on his ankle. So, all right. So you take yours, and that brings it to the cats who are next before Stone. The arcane cat with the long whiskers, white whiskers, and the body like a Siamese jumps off of the top right onto Stone's back. And Stone, you can feel this energy as the cat surges its energy into your body. These are not ordinary cats at all, as it launches at you with arcane magic. I would like you to make a wisdom save, please. And because it has 4-paw contact, you have disadvantage. Nice! Woo!
Nice.
Literally, this cat's
Yeah.
hanging onto your back, and because not only do you repel it, but there's something in your coat, perhaps because your master trained you by throwing spells at you, that the cat can't grasp its magic into you, and ends up sliding off your back to the floor below. It is prone. It will have to use half its turn to half its movement to get up, which will end its turn. The other cats are underneath. The orange cat does nothing. The other two are up high. The gray one, which is all the way on the top of the shelves, you hear, and it literally comes out with its tiny little 4 kitten claws straight down at Shadow, who's looking up Shadow who's looking down because of the ankle.
Yeah, I've got a hold
Yep,
of
no one in the back. Yep, you're in the alley, and it comes straight down towards Shadow's head. And it will be using its whoa, man! Rolled hot there. I don't even have to give it advantage or anything. Wow. I'm guessing a 21 hits you because he has a little +1 on his hit. Well, nat 20 would hit you. And he gets 4 claws right on your head. Ooh, that hurt. I don't like how high that rolled. I think they deserve disadvantage on that damage roll. That was a really good roll. 5 points of damage.
Yikes.
Well, the one was also an exploding dice, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. It's like wiped out by a kitten in one hit. I don't think so.
All right.
That brings it to Stone's turn. Stone.
Okay, well, I was going to say I'm going to go after the closest one, but I'm assuming the one that just slid off my back is the closest one.
You got it. Old cat on its side.
To the left, to the right.
You take time to take it in really quick. Shadow is over there, and yeah, you can see the kitten on his head.
No, the one that came off my back, is it to the left or to the
I thought you were looking around left and right. I'm like, it's kind of a weird movement to be doing when you're going to attack, but yeah, so he's right on your right-hand side.
All right, so I'm just going to make the quick whip snap and try to just snatch it up in my jaws, because I know that's my go-to. So,
Amen.
We're outnumbered, so we got to get these numbers down.
Do it, man. Make an attack.
And I'm doing strength on that, right?
Yes.
Man, you do realize this is set up as a druid, right?
You do realize you could roll up. You can do a straight other character.
I don't
hit
I don't
random
know how to do
character.
that.
Oh.
I'll just roll with what I got.
Okay.
2.
You can also break out regular dice. I mean, you got regular
That's why I
dice.
asked earlier if I should break out regular dice or use what we had.
Yeah, I said you can do whatever you like, man. Whatever you want. I mean, the chat can't see it, but hey. Your 2 is sticking, though, just so you know.
Yeah, I'll just stick with what's on there.
Your 2 is there.
Too late to change now. We're mid-play.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun to watch these massive, this massive Goliath dog snipping and snarling. And this old cat that's on its side, son of a pup, you snap right where it is, and it appears like 6 inches to the right. You're like, you snapped right where it was. And there's something magical about this cat. You're like, oh no, you're not fighting an ordinary cat. And suddenly, how could Puppy Thulu die becomes a little more evident. We already know that Stone not only has this massive jaw that will not let go, but he has a magical coat. What is it that gave you, Shadow, a defensive ability?
I was actually raised by druids. I was brought up in a grove, and they would commune with me and with nature when they did their magics, and that somehow I was able to feel what was happening, and my body became a part of the process. So somehow that made it where I was able to defend myself more easily in that way.
Okay. Just able to defend yourself. Okay, so you have...
Well, I mean, it's a reduction in anything that's more unnatural, like poison and disease. I
okay.
have that. Yeah.
So they've injected you, strengthened you, washed you with special doggy shampoos that give you this immunity to poison and disease. I like that. I like that. That'll actually work for one of these guys.
He wasn't just chasing sticks. He was dipped in the river Styx.
Oh, very nice. You just earned yourself a devil's bargain. You have a 1d4 that you can add to a roll tonight. Enjoy that. You still have inspiration, don't forget, given to us by Verdic himself, who bought inspiration for all the players tonight. The elf...
We need all the help we can get.
The elf whips out a wand and immediately casts sleep. Oh, silly elf. That might work out in your advantage. The elf casts sleep. And with that... Well, actually, you guys wouldn't notice. With that, 2 of the kittens fall asleep. The one on top of the bookshelf and the one underneath the desk. The orange one and that one spotted white and black on top of the I said desk, but I meant dresser. So now the old one that's down with you, Brock, that you had bitten at, starts dancing away. But we're going to start the top of the round, of course, with Shadow.
So we still have 2 to deal with. 1 just went at my head, right?
You actually, from your character's perspective, you'd have 4 to deal with because your face is down on an ankle. You don't know what's on top of the dresser, and you don't know what's under the desk.
Do I actually have a hold of the elf?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, oh yeah, you got him.
I want to try to get him off his feet completely. I want to get him prone.
Okay.
How would I? Would it be still just a contested strength check? Is that what we're doing?
I like that. That's a good. Actually, you'd use athletics, in case you do have any proficiency there and whatnot, and you should actually, as a dog, you should have proficiency in athletics. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and make your roll, and he'll make his. And since he was casting a spell, I'm giving him disadvantage.
I'm gonna. I should have called that one.
Yep, the elf. As you're doing it, you start pulling against him, and his pants rip away. You have this pants and blood in your mouth, and it was only and he stumbles backwards into the desk.
Oof.
With that, it's the top of the round for the cats, and then the elf. The cat that was snarling on your maw, which was hooked into your nose, hangs on as you pull away, and because he has this grip on your nose, you continue to take damage as you pull away, and it's minor. It's a 1d2 for prolonged, and it's a 2, so you take 2 damage there, and then he continues. Now he gets his attack to continue ripping your... He continues his hold on you to do ongoing damage with his claws, and now he uses his little mouth fangs to bite towards your eyes. He's like,
cats.
He's like, oh no, that definitely does not hit. So you're like, you move away too quickly, and the cat's little head snaps over. The other cats continue theirs. The magical one going at Stone gets to its feet using half its movement. Judges quickly whether or not it should try things, and tries to run underneath Stone to get out, giving Stone a free opportunity attack to snap at it again as it goes to get under the desk where it clearly thinks Stone can't go. Foolish cat.
Well, Stone, even though he's a massive rock, clearly doesn't have strength. So perhaps he's going to learn from the first one that he missed, and he's where he thinks this cat's at, where he's going looking at it, he's actually going to judge and kind of lead it when he snaps at it.
Okay, using all your instincts, you're like, go ahead and make an attack roll on it.
14.
Nice. You catch this cat right in the rear quarters, nipping at it. That is a attack roll. So this will be to do damage, which is different than grapple where you're holding onto it. I say only that because I'm assuming you talked previously about Stone's ability to grab things and kind of shake them to death, which seems like a special attack. You know, if you can grapple something, kind of like what the little cat has on Shadow right now. That's an ongoing. He just hangs on and does damage with his little claws, but then he starts biting too. So for you, were you going for an attack just to do some damage, or were you going to grapple it, which would not do damage this round, but allow you to do a special move next round?
I'm just trying to catch the thing, so that then we can decide where we're going. Because if I don't catch him, I'm not doing anything to him anyway.
Perfect.
My whole goal was to just get a hold of him.
All right, so you're going for a grapple on him, on his back. I'm going to let him use his dexterity to try and beat your roll. He does not, and you have this old cat in your mouth. You've snatched him, you've snagged him, and next round you'll be able to do some, or at the end of this round, when it's your turn, you'll be able to do damage on that. I have not done. Just as a break out of character, my daughters just gave me an update. They've taken their cat to the hospital, gotten into a vet, and they're in the hospital with him right now. They're doing CPR for the cat, who was in distress when they came home, and it's not looking good. So, you know, whether you're viewing online or whatnot, if you could lift up my daughter's pet. His name is Landon. They adopted him just over a week ago and brought him into their home and have given him a really good week, and he appeared incredibly healthy. He passed all the vet's checks, but then yesterday he went into distress, and today they came home and he was urinating all over himself, just in a very bad way. So, you know, just hold them up. For those of you that watch online and follow her, it's Kitty Doe, and Kitty Doe's cat Landon is just in a lot of trouble right now, and it's a really difficult situation for the family. So we want them to know that we're with them and just hold them up. I'm a Christian, so you're going to pardon me, you know, if you're watching online. I'm about to pray for them. Holy Lord, just be with them, Lord. You love all your creation, all people, all things. You made a good creation, and that includes Landon, this little stray that was brought into her home, Lord. Be with them now. Let your presence be felt. Let your healing touch be upon the cat. And Lord, if it's not his time to be with them, if it's time to go, let it be quick, let it be swift, and let it be painless as much as possible. But Lord, we know you can do miracles, and we know you can heal. So I'm going to ask for that, according to that my will be in accord with Jesus' will for life abundant, life in this. Let a miracle happen. Let this cat be healed. I pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks. I appreciate you as players allowing me to do that. For you as viewers, I hope it wasn't too uncomfortable. But I just care for people. We care for our viewers. We care for those and the connections that we make here, whether it's online or in real life. That matters a lot. So, I actually should respond to her. Give me one split moment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's first.
Yeah, thank you.
Family's first. Yep.
Click.
You know, Stone, we're gonna have to show these cats something. We're not off to a great start here.
Listen, I was ready to clamp these jaws down and tear this thing apart, and then we get this news, and now it's like, man, I just want to let them go because I feel bad for the cats.
I'm kind of scared to let go of this elf. You know, I don't know if I can't tell if they're together. I can't tell if they're like his puppets. I'm afraid to let go of him, even though I've got one on my head.
Whoops.
Like I can feel the blood coming down my muzzle, and I just don't want to let go of it.
Well, so I pulled that one onto the wrong screen. Oh, well, I'll have to modify that. Whatever. Yeah, so he is. He's on your muzzle. You know, he's there. This guy's attacking from the top. You got these other little critters from underneath. And you hear something start to hack And it's this one. You've got the one that's on top of your jaw, but it's the one that Stone has in its mouth, perhaps because he's starting to shake it. But he seems to be hacking something up, even as he's held in place. Moments
Can I read
later,
his collar?
not while he's in your jaw. No, I mean it's kind of like, you know.
I wasn't sure if I could
Maybe
make
if you
out
rip
the
him
words.
apart, you could.
I couldn't. I didn't know if I could make out the words reflay or not.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Okay.
This is not replay. That I should have thought of. No, nope. These are not. These that you're fighting are actually already created individuals. It's just kind of interesting to see how it's panning out right now. The one inside you, you're ripping apart. But I'll give you this. He doesn't seem to have a collar on him either. So there's nothing for you to read. The one that's on top of you continues hacking this up until something wet, slimy flops out on the floor and then begins to move of its own accord. And it seems to be slithering towards Stone himself, his paw. The other one that's on your claw since he continues his grapple hold and you haven't gotten him off, he does 1 point of damage this time from continuing hanging on and bites again at you. Oh, I hear a phone somewhere. Oh, I can't answer that at the moment. It's Esther rolling. I cannot. I'm sorry, Esther. I cannot. There you are. Had to figure out how to turn my phone off. Sorry about that distraction. I thought I had already rolled. All right, well, whatever. Now it's a miss. We'll go with whatever the current roll is. It was a hit, and then I rolled the dice automatically. I'm like, sorry, you get the benefit. So his bite fails on you again, which brings it to the elf, who realizes his mistake in casting the sleep spell, and instead uses a free action to draw a whistle and blows a whistle, which normally I would be telling everybody nobody hears, but you can hear it. This loud, high-pitched screaming, and then you hear a barking that only your dog ears and cat ears can pick up in the room. And it sounds like this high-pitched howl coming from far away. Perhaps he summoned you to have allies, other dogs that are coming. But there's something strange about this sound of these dogs that are coming.
I'm going to attempt to make a specific attack. I'm going to try to close this elf's throat.
So you're releasing the leg.
I'm going to use inspiration to do this.
Okay.
I'm going to try to remove him now.
Didn't you already have your attack though? Because I was into the cats and you actually lead the round.
Oh, do I wait till? I'm just going to wait till next turn. I mean.
Okay. Yep. No, that's great. I want to give Stone his.
Declaring intent. Yeah.
Perfect. Stone, it's yours. So.
Okay. This one that I've got in my mouth, I'm going to try to. Obviously, my ears are kind of ringing because I'm hearing this whistle. But that just kind of infuriates me more. So I'm just going to clamp my jaws. And at the same time, because my ears are ringing, I just. And I'm smashing my head back and forth. And just basically trying to turn this into a ball of just fur flying everywhere.
The anger at the high-pitched sound, and as you start ripping this thing back and forth, you have advantage on a roll. Of course, you know that already, but this is your main attack. Just like when you shredded the box, you can do severe damage with this. The beauty of the attack is that as long as you have a grapple, it's automatic damage as soon as you start rolling. So go ahead and roll 2d8 damage and add your strength modifier to it. Don't forget, we do have exploding dice here, so if either of those are an 8, you get to take that 8 and roll the dice again. A 4 plus an 8, and roll another d8 and add it to it. You do a total of 14 points of damage to this old cat with the long whiskers, which is yelling and screaming as you render it back and forth, this vile creature sent to attack poor little puppy Thulu, this monster puppy, is now paying the ultimate price. What does it look like as you take out this demonic cat?
Matted, bloody fur and chunks of meat flying through the air.
As I'm saying to chat, this went in a totally unexpected direction. NSFW edition of the show. Yeah, this is like, I'm like, that was really where I planned all this going out. Literally, parts of this little demonic cat, this magical cat, go everywhere as you end this monster's life. And I just want to remind all our viewers, cats do have a CR rating. They are part of the whole monster edition and whatnot. So do not think of your house pets at all. Think of like little monsters in a game. That's all. As this demonic dog, Stone, this monstrous dog, I shouldn't say demonic, monstrous dog, Stone, ends his enemy, taking one down, bringing us to the top of the round, where Shadow has already said his intent. Shadow, you release the ankle, if I remember, and you're jumping up towards the elf's throat. Is that right?
Yep, and I would like to use my inspiration.
Use it away, brother. With inspiration, make it mighty. Oh, should that be a dexterity or should that be? I think that should be dexterity. Even though you're clamping with your jaw, what do you think? I think it's a jump. Go ahead and make dexterity. Make it athletics. Right. OMG. Too funny. Wolf's Dad has just earned you, since you're the only one without inspiration, using it now. Inspiration again. Thank you, Wolf's Dad, for that.
So, there's one.
Wow. There's one roll. Let's see that roll again, since you said you were using your inspiration.
Yep.
And a 10. So, literally, you're like, snap up, you get on this guy. But, you know, now you realize, elves, they're slippery buggers. You're like doing it, and he's moving back to the left and right. Far more agile than the simple humans that you've been trained to track down and go after. This elf stays out of your biting grip. And that brings it to the kittens, who start making their attacks. There's a little of the one that's sleeping underneath the desk. Of the one that's snoring on top of the dresser. But the one that's actually on your maw, continuing to hang on as you do this, literally ripping at you, does another 2 points of damage. And you're feeling a tingling in your snout because now you realize what his special attack was all about. His claws are poisonous. Unfortunately, you're immune to it. So you realize you've sensed this before. He's totally ineffective at what his real attack is. That's his whole ability. He doesn't know that you're immune to the poison, which is why he just continues to hang on and tries to bite you once more, and the bite is totally ineffective. So
he's going to get me by attrition here eventually. I'm at 4.
Yep. Are you really? Wow. He's like, so basically your maw is all bloody now and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
I've
it's
given up everything trying to get this elf.
Well, you've gotten down one cat already. 2 are sleeping. This elf is there. And it would actually be the elf's action because we just took out one cat. That one is matted fur. It's done.
That's it.
Stone took it out. And if you heard multiple rolls, I was actually just rolling them off the desk without looking. The final roll was my roll. And this roll for the elf, I didn't even know what his action was. I don't think I needed to roll. I was going to do a spell. Gives you an opportunity attack as he tries to move to the other side of the room. And he go ahead and make your opportunity attack, Shadow. And Stone, you would get an opportunity attack as well because the room is so small. So both of you can have a free attack on him.
Oh my!
Wow, with 20. Doubling damage, Shadow. Blaze did not call inspiration on that, so his final attack is 11. So while the elf moves just out of Stone's reach, thinking, thank you, Jesus. He literally moves right into the jaws of Shadow. Shadow, roll for some damage on this elf as you get a solid lock at his leg. I'm guessing you're biting still, no claws, or...
I'm using claws too.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all... Yeah, doing it.
Well, you are animals. You have a multi-attack. You can attack with your claws. You can attack with your jaws. You can use special attacks. All depends on what you see your character having.
So refresh me. What kind of damage roll are we talking for this?
With your claws, it would be a 1d6. And with your jaw, it'll be a 1d8. So you're making an attack roll. You're going right at him. So you can do a multi-attack.
Oh, I gotta do the one and then do the other. Okay.
Yep.
Go. Lunk.
Boom, boom. 6, 8, total 11. You get into this guy's leg and you start chewing into his side, and he screams and goes down under your attack. He's still alive, but you have him down, man. You've gotten in there with a good solid, imitating Stone that you always see when Stone takes stuff down, and you're just like, it's my turn now. Stone has clearly cowered this guy right into you to see you perform, and perform you do. That brings...
I trained well.
There you go. With that, the one literally, as he's bringing it down, clearly stays right on his face. I'm thinking this cat might be able to figure out that the magic isn't working of the poison. So with that, I'm not sure he would stay on you. Of course, if you're that low, you also have the bloody condition, so he knows he's doing enough damage just as it is.
That's it.
And he switches as you're snarling. You know what? Yeah, he's just going to hang on, man. He's just going to hang on. He does 1 point hanging on. He's going to try to bite at your head while you're doing... Ooh, 18. Yeah, we're going to call it.
Wait, hold on a second. Hasn't he already had his attack this round?
No, that was...
Before we do?
No, because we went around, then you attack, and you end the round. Then it's the
Yeah,
top
it's
of the
at the
round,
top.
which is Fenrir,
Yeah.
or Shadow, and then it's them.
Okay, his was an opportunity attack. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. We got out of... I lost it there.
Yeah. No, and you're absolutely correct. They don't have an attack. You are absolutely right. Don't forget that you do have a D4 that you can use still, Brock. They do not, because it was an opportunity attack that you got to make that does not give them a turn because it was the elf at the end. So absolutely correct. You are right. So that leaves it. The elf's turn is over. The elf moved to the door, took the damage, went down, but he still has his action. And since he only used his movement so far, he's going to use a free action, draw the knife that he carries with him, and just try to stab right into the stomach of Shadow. I got nothing left, man, on this guy. He can't exactly cast spells while he's being ripped apart. He's just going to make an attack. I'm giving him advantage because he's under you as you brought him down. And it's a nat 20 with the advantage.
Oh,
yeah, that's not going to look good. That would be... I rolled the wrong dice. Dagger's only a D4.
Well, this dog did his best.
The knife pierces up into the stomach of Shadow. And I didn't even use the exploding dice, but yeah, Shadow's like, oh, and finally releases it. And as he does, of course, it would be Shadow's turn. You don't have anything in the background to heal you. Did your master cast anything on you to help or anything like that? No. You're down for the moment then. Down for the moment. Shadow's lifeless form falls on top. The cat, feeling it was victorious, not seeing the elf's hand and whatnot, releases the jaw of Shadow, who's gone down, and does this flying leap towards Stone, trying to clear the distance. He'll have to actually make a wonderful acrobatics check, which he clearly fails at. And instead of coming up on top of Stone, goes far too low with his little kitten body, making it an instant opportunity attack. Usually opportunity attacks are when somebody leaves the round, but we like to do some special things, and this is a one-shot, so part of Stone's special training is to, when things enter his zone, so he gets a free snap attack to snap his jaws which are still, I guess, kind of filled with fur and whatnot everywhere, at this little kitten coming at him.
And that's just a strength roll.
Yes. Yeah. Just your jaw. Yep. So the kitten tumbles underneath you, rolls out of the way in his true kitten rogue fashion, is underneath you. You miss this opportunity attack, which uses your reaction. I should have thought of that. You had actually already used your reaction, so I'm glad you missed. Otherwise, you would have had 2 in the same round, which wouldn't be allowed. And the kitten darts off and gets under this heavy desk. Where it proceeds to start waking up the orange cat that it finds sleeping. The other 2 cats are asleep, and the elf this round is down. Yeah, because the elf was trying to move. That means we actually skipped over Blaze. So Blaze, let's give Stone 2 rounds of attacks. What do you want to do for your first action?
Well, the reason I missed the other cat when it was coming flying at me is because I still had part of that other cat's body in my mouth. So I kind of spit it out on the ground on top of this thing that's like crawling towards me. And then as I go to leap towards over where Shadow is at and try to assist him, because I don't really realize that he's out yet, I put my big paw, just smash it down on that top of that I just spit out, and whatever was underneath it just goes as I leap through the air.
Oh, nice.
And I'm just going jaws open wide to hit this elf, because I know he's been the focus of Shadow, and now I kind of see Shadow's kind of off. So I'm heading that way to see if he needs help.
You have advantage on the roll because the elf is prone, so go ahead and make an attack roll. Coming in on top, you squish the little thing on the ground, and now this elf sees your jaws coming right at him. This is like, and you realize the curse of Cthulhu, or Cat Thulu, is real, which is the whole premise of the earlier one shot that we did. Cat Thulu is real and has cursed all dogs who would strike against her people. And boy, is it working. Now you realize exactly why your master didn't show up. The rakshasha that sent you. This tiger that has wild dogs serving him. You snap, and the elf appears to be able to roll his face away each time in the same frustrating way. But Shadow doesn't come to your help the next round. Shadow instead appears to be laying there, and you realize why. Shadow, with your dying breath, what does it sound like? What do you communicate to Stone?
And it's kind of like I'm trying to use our mental connection to indicate the danger that the elf poses. That was why I was so intent on stopping him.
Nice. So you get this intent from him, what his ideas are, that it is all about the elf at the end of the day, according to him. And of course you realize this elf must be steeped in magic to be able to keep out of your jaws. Underneath, there's a second furball sound you hear, and it's coming from underneath the desk. In the meantime, your focus, I'm going to say, is strictly on the elf trying to bite his face, so you don't look to see what's happening over there. But you know something is happening. And then you hear with your ears the scrabbling of claws on wood. But again, you don't know what, because you're focused on trying to bite the elf for the moment. I'm just giving you background that something is changing, something is moving in the scene. You're just unaware of exactly what it is. Their actions aren't going to cause anything that you would notice at the moment, which brings us back to Blaze. Tell us what Stone does.
Stone's just going to try to continue going after this elf and get him taken out. He's got to drop the odds somehow. The cats seem to be too quick, bouncing all over the place. He can see the blood pouring out of the leg of the elf, so he knows he's slowing down. He's wounded. It's pretty much go all out or else game over.
Okay, you have advantage on your attacks because the elf is still prone, has not been able to get up from under you. I didn't even give him an opportunity to. I was like, he's got a dog on top of him, another dog in his face. He's trying to do everything that he can to just survive this. And that's when you hear that howling that was in the distance is now in the hallway, and you look up and you see two spectral steeds. These dogs of hell summoned by him. And they've come not to help you, but to serve this elf who summoned them with the magic whistle, which you now realize is still clenched in his hand, this long whistle around a silver chain around his neck. And he holds it in his hand. And these snarling, it almost looks like ethereal, you can partially see through them, black dogs with red eyes are coming down the corridor towards you.
I see that whistle, and I can kind of use my intelligence to know that that's probably what caused the ringing in my ears earlier. And so I'm going to try to just bite his hand off and like swallow the whistle.
Oh, I love it. So instead of attacking the face, let's do that and focus your entire attack on getting this whistle.
And I'm going to use my inspiration.
All right. Well, you actually don't need to because you already have advantage. Inspiration will give you advantage. But I'll tell you what, let's honor that idea. And I'm going to say that if you hit, I will allow you to use your inspiration on the damage roll. How's that? Let's honor what the chat's doing and what you're trying to do. Inspiration on your attack roll to start with as you go for this hand. Maybe it's just his face that is protected. Who knows? That looks pretty good. Roll again. 16, man. Snap over this hand. Roll for damage. And we're just going to automatically give you as if it was already a grapple check. Technically, you don't have it. Well, no, we should probably honor the fact that you don't have it. So go ahead and just make an attack roll, or excuse me, a damage roll, which would be a D6 with your jaw. Don't forget, you have advantage on that. Roll again. We promised that you would have that. Or if you wanted to. An exploding dice, buddy. Roll a D6 again. So 6 plus 6 plus. Keep going.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Hold on.
3. 15 points. Stone, you grab onto this, putting the entire hand and the whistle in it. And here's the interesting thing. You start ripping against it. And as you do, like trying to just chop the hand off, the hand doesn't come off. Sorry, buddy. The entire arm comes off the shoulder as you snap it away, blood pouring out. But unfortunately, the stupid whistle was around the guy's neck. And this is where the true strength of stone comes in. The whistle chain severs through the neck, leaving the head roll across the ground as you have this arm hanging from your mouth, the head rolling over, and with the magic spellcaster now dead, the two dogs walking at you go up in mist, returning to the plane of dread from which they had been summoned.
Yeah.
Leaving you alone, this dead elf on the ground, this in your mouth, and Shadow there. And you see, as your turn ends, that what was scrabbling up on the dresser was the cats waking their other friend, who now sees the advantage on their part of the turn to dash away up the hall. These 3 kittens, which clearly you could probably outrun on your turn if you want to. These 3 kittens are running away together up the hallway. But you also know your buddy Stone is down. What do you want to do? Shadow, sorry. Stone is there. Shadow is down.
I mean, obviously our masters trained us for something. We've got to have some type of something in our back pocket. So I'm going to search the room to see if I can recognize anything that might help my partner.
Well, as we said before, you not only know some of the human language, you've seen what your master deals with, and Rakshasa love magic. You love things. You automatically know he's had you pick things off of bodies before, like this whistle you'll bring back to him. But you also know that what that elf had around on his side right there, his ring, looks something like what your master wears. Now, your master has fought in combat before. He's used you. And you've also seen your master duplicitously use people. That ring he's touched when he was almost dying and come back to life. Make of it what you will. What would you like to do with that knowledge?
I'm going to tuck my head down and nuzzle it under the arm portion and flip it over onto Shadow so that the hand falls over like this, right on his underside, where I see a wound pouring blood.
You flip this arm around with the hand and whatnot, and the hand flops into the blood, the ring. You realize you're letting the kittens go, but somehow Shadow seems more important as this ring falls into it. And the ring, no longer having an elf to bear it, lets loose its revivification ability, the same as what your master had used. You know nothing of the spells. You know only the similarity. And because it's still within 3 rounds, we haven't even passed the minute mark, the magic of the ring pours out into the blood, and the blood slowly gets pulled back into the body. And you realize the wounds are closing underneath him, even as Stone stands there watching. A round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, about 18 seconds pass. As slowly, Shadow comes back from the shadow of death into the valley, or leaving the shadow of the valley of death and into this life once more. Shadow, you are back up with D8 hit points. Not to full, but you're back, baby.
And I'm gonna Shadow's gonna give him the dog hug, so he's gonna put his back against him and rub up against the back. Against his big old broad chest, and he's gonna be like, "Thanks, man. I thought I was gone. I didn't think I was coming back that time."
So Stone conveys a picture in his head of what he last saw on the floor, just the slaughtered elf, and conveys the message of vengeance, and then goes, "Hoof, hoof," and darts down the hallway after the cats.
You still have this big arm hanging out of your mouth. Are you leaving it, or are you dragging it with you, or what?
When I bark, I drop the arm. But as I'm darting out, I grab that whistle.
Okay, so you take a moment to get the whistle off of the hand and whatnot, and then dart out of the room. How about you, Shadow? Are you just sticking with him, or do you want to? I mean, you're in a room, body, what?
I want to look at the desk because I recall the elf was trying to get into a desk drawer.
He was.
I'm take top teeth and see if I can pull that desk open.
You pull the door out and it falls to the ground off of its wooden rails, items spilling everywhere. And you see this, what appears to be a amulet. And immediately you feel revulsion towards it. It's a cat's head with ruby eyes in place. And it appears to be on a thick rope and whatnot, as if it would be worn around your head. And as you're looking at it, you may not be able to tell colors that well, but you can tell that something's lighting up, and those eyes are glittering back at you. And you feel a revulsion towards it automatically, as if it were radiating off of it.
So I'm gonna push past the feeling of revulsion. I'm gonna my eyes kind of narrow a little bit. I'm gonna aim my muzzle towards the actual cord. I'm gonna grab it. And I'm gonna take the cord with my teeth, and I'm gonna kind of whip it around and get it onto my head, around my neck. And then I'm gonna follow Stone because I'm gonna intend to take this back to my master.
Moments later, you're wearing this thing. You suffer 1 level of exhaustion for being in contact with the amulet of Cthulhu, the new god over Sharn, released previous to your coming here.
Yikes.
And you rush off. You feel that exhaustion come over you as if this thing hates everything about you. You know that you won't be able to wear this for a full day or whatnot. It's literally trying to sap your energy like an introvert in a room in a party. It's just pulling it out of you. But in the meantime, your hit points are up. You rush after Stone. Stone, do me a favor. You've gotten all the way back to the main door. And I need you to make an investigation roll to know if the kittens have run upstairs, down the hallway, further into the building, or left the building entirely. This would all happen beforehand.
And I can tell you where they all went.
That's it. They stuck together. You figure sniffing might not be your thing, but you can follow kittens that just ran through some blood and whatnot of this severed elf. And you find that the paw prints and whatnot do actually lead back outside. Oh, no, I apologize. They would not have. They would go inside, further deeper into this building.
I'm following. We've come this far. We got 3 more to take out.
You hear as you follow in that distance, running along it. I said there was no party music before, but now you realize there's some chanting. Almost like there are some other people here, but they seem, as weird as it sounds, like it's beneath the floor, which is why you didn't hear it clearly earlier. But you have a good direction on these cats who are running the blood off their paws, so that goes away pretty quickly and whatnot. Again, it was 30 feet just to get back to the main door. But really good roll, by the way, buddy. Investigation. But you're able to follow these, and you find a stairway. Now, unfortunately, because you're a couple rounds ahead of Shadow, you get to this doorway, and he only took a moment to try and do his investigation, sniffing around. So you just catch sight of him. He didn't leave the building at all. Even with this door open, it appears like he's run deeper into the building. You sprint after him. He's only a little slower than you, not because of size, even though you are a little more dexterous, but because he's searching for something. By the time you catch up to him, you realize you catch the scent of the kittens. The kittens have come this way. They didn't leave the building either. It doesn't take you long to find a staircase leading down. Now, the kittens are nowhere near as fast as you, and you look down the staircase, and with your dog vision at night, you catch the sight of the fat little orange one rolling around the corner, and you can hear from down this corridor the chanting that I just described to him. It appears that humans are down there. Oh, all right, hold on. I've got an update from the family. I want to read it. I'll actually read it to all of you. He went into cardiac arrest. They got him back. They said he was fine, and then suddenly doing very badly again, which we were noticing at home. They're running some blood work. The doctor has no clue what's wrong right now. He says it doesn't make sense. His oxygen levels are at 72%, where they should be at 98%, so a little bit low. He's pale, yellowing a little from what we just heard. The doctor, and then that was earlier. I missed it. I should not have this. I'm sorry. I needed to change it because I didn't realize that mine was going out on the video. He's stable and in oxygen. Must be on oxygen. They're letting him calm down before drawing blood because they don't want him to stress and go into cardiac arrest again. Then they're going to run some tests. Leading theories. A parasite that's destroying the red blood cells, which can cause both the paling and the yellowing. Some sort of compensation in his blood cells in general that he's had his whole life, which might have acted up after his neutering. Oh my. Because they just had him neutered. Continuing to pray. I'm going to lift him up again here. One moment. Holy God, we thank you that you've chosen to keep him with us for this time. Lord, that you've given the doctors this moment to work. Lord, that my daughters were able to find a place to bring him into. All these, Lords, are signs of hope, not distress. Lord, continue to give them hope as they work with the doctors to get this cat through. Lord, I know my daughter and how she would respond to knowing that a parasite might kill a cat, all because she chose to do the right thing and have him neutered. However, Lord, there are complications in life. None of us really know the past of others. We can only work through the moment. So, Lord, help us in this moment. Continue to bring hope to them. Continue to work your healing love through all these individuals, through the doctors, through the hands, through the medicines. Lord, let your power be known. Bless this family. She just brought him into their family. Make it a family that lasts for more than a week, more than 8 days, more than 8 months. Let it be, Lord, years that they have together. We trust you, Lord, in this moment, that you're uniting not only them in that room, but we here online who are sharing this moment, grieving for Landon, hoping the best for him. Let's gather together and hope that you, in all your sovereign will make a mighty creation, make a moment in which we can see and glorify you for what you're doing there, through the hands of people. What a joy it is to be your people, to do your work. Lord, thanks for what's happening in love and hope, not for the pain or the suffering, but in the hope that's happening as we draw together in prayer. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks for joining me, chat. Thanks for joining me, friends. Yeah, it's a painful place to be in. We reach out to others and we help. All right, so back to the game. They go stumbling down. This little orange kitty far ahead of you. You can choose to rush after them and make a grapple attack and snatch up this little fluffy kitten.
We still don't have no humans in sight, correct?
No, but you now know they are down there. It's where these kittens tend
there
to be heading towards.
But I'm gonna try to snatch one of these up, at least one of these up before they get there.
So you want to snatch the kittens on the way towards the humans.
Correct.
Okay. Shadow, what's your intent? Because we're kind of out of initiative, so I just need to know.
You're still muted, Russ.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I have this thing. It's leeching me out. I feel compelled to try to communicate to Stone that, we might have something incredibly valuable for our master. Are we sure that the cats are worth it?
My intent is to try to get one more before we get to the humans. If humans come inside or I can tell I'm getting close, I'll back out.
Well, you're getting close because, again, they sound right up ahead. And your choice is if you take an action to attack, you can't use an action to dash. So a dash might get you to the humans with your speed, whereas you're going to slow down to make an attack to grab a cat. So your really choice is just which is your priority. The kittens or getting towards these humans chanting.
Yeah, I feel like we may have what we came for. Might be best to bowl these humans over.
Can I distinguish by the sound how many possible humans there are? Are we talking a couple? Are we talking a dozen? Are we talking...
It sounds like a group of a half dozen or less. I would say 4 to 6.
That'd still be more than he'd be willing to take, because, we have the injured guy that just come back. I'm not extremely wounded, but I got some scratches on me as well. We still know we got at least 3 cats we got to take out. And if it's more than just a couple humans, the odds aren't good. So I try to make a judgment call on my perception of whether I could get that last cat before he rounds the corner.
Oh, the cat's already around the corner. So if you go dashing after him, I saw you saw the last of him as he was disappearing around the corner. So absolutely wisdom enough. You can do it like I'm a dumb dog and I chase it anyway, but the reality is it sounds like they're going into a room where people will be and they're just going down the last maybe 5 or 6 steps.
Okay. I was picturing it different. I was trying to snatch it before it got around that corner so I could shred it in privacy.
Oh yeah, no, that was why in the original thing you were just catching the last tail end of the furry one going around the corner.
Okay. Then I would probably, because I'm going full speed, so I would probably go to put my brakes on and kind of on a rug that's not attached to the floor, just kind of slide a little bit until I come to a stop, and then backing up.
So you and Shadow go dodging down these stairs after these cats, and again it's those tight turnstile stairs like you would see outside of an apartment building, and he goes sliding into the wall and whatnot, and as he does you see these cats, which are stupidly agile, stupid cats, that have stuck close with their little pads of their feet, and these little kittens have gotten down towards the bottom of the stairs, but luckily because you slid into this wall and are about to dive after them, it's, again, those half turnstile stairs. You can see, and you're low enough as a dog to see into a room, and you see 4 people there chanting, and you see a glow, and you see they're all standing on top of this emblem, which Shadow, you recognize instantly. They're standing on top of the very emblem you're wearing. It's a woven rug that they're all standing around. These 4 individuals at points around it. So you have a vision before, I do anything else. Again, we're not in combat. The kittens appear to be trying to rush towards these people. You're
I don't want
muted.
to leave my dog, but would my character know how to get back to my master if I decided to get the heck out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you leave now, you can get, yeah.
Brock, I'm thinking about it hard, man.
Well, now you're behind me, so you've already seen me slam on the brakes.
Yeah. I'm gonna make one last guttural growl, kind of, and just complain, bitch, moan. But I think I'm turning, and I'm leaving. I'm getting out. I'm disengaging. I have this thing. I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get it back to the boss. We didn't sign on to fight 3 cats and a bunch of humans.
So I sense, he's bugging out, but being the character that I am, I have to advance. But I'm going to advance in the opposite direction.
That was good. You guys make the better part of valor. What do they say? It's like you guys head back to the top, advancing in the opposite direction, advancing towards your master so that you can bring him the updates he needs. You truck it through the streets, and Stone, you realize not only is Shadow tired from being wounded, but there's something even more, man. This guy's just wickedly overtired. It's like he slows down the further. By the time you guys get home, you're literally nuzzling up against him. He's taken 2 more levels of exhaustion from wearing this thing.
I reach down and grab the scruff of his neck, toss him up, and he's draped across my back, and I'm giving it all I got.
No.
Wow. Way to go, Samwise. Man, you know what? You may not be able to carry the raid, but I can carry you. And by the time you make it back into the Rakshasha's lair, he sees his 2 dogs. He sees his 2 dogs bring in, one dog bringing in the other. But in the typical Rakshasa fashion, you serve a hard master. Before he pays attention to Shadow, he looks at what Shadow's wearing. And he reaches down and pulls this amulet off of Shadow's neck, and immediately 1 level of exhaustion is restored. You only have 2. You're not back to normal yet, but immediately, and he looks at it and he says, holds it up before him. They are here. And he says, you found them? And what of Puppy Thulu? And you realize that what he was really sending you for was maybe he wasn't as wise as he thought. Maybe he didn't know that Puppy Thulu was dead, but clearly thought that someone was out to get Puppy Thulu. And now he's asking you for the status.
Destroyed, utterly.
I spit the whistle out on the floor.
Yeah.
And kind of lower my head and extend my front paws and kind of let out a little whimper.
As he looks at it and looks to each of you, this hard feline master looks down at the whistle and says, dogs. Looks at this and he says, Cthulhu, I shall be her chosen and none other. You have done well. And he goes over and opens this thing, and you can hear little voices inside it, and it's some of your favorite snacks that he likes to serve you, these living treats. What does he throw out to you, Stone?
These little dancing bacon strips.
He pulls it out, this animated thing that jumps around on the floor and starts running away from you, long and thin, wafting in the air. And he pulls out 3 of them, which scatter in different directions.
That's part of the fun, is tracking them down.
There you go. And Stone immediately starts chasing them. And then he reaches over into the other drawer for Shadow. And Shadow, what does he pull out for you that is your favorite treat?
In honor of my German Shepherd that's here at my lap right now, I'm going to say he pulls out these snails, this big snail, and just that moves faster than a normal one. They kind of move in a little quick jolt. He throws it out, and he knows I'll chase it down, and I know it tastes good because it's like a rubbery bacon taste. I'm going to go after it. I'm go after this snail, and I'm just going to grab it and crunch it.
Moments later,
I'm pleased.
You crunch up this slimy little snail, and it's so perfect. And as you do, he comes over to you while Stone is still chasing down one of the bacon strips that's really whimpering and crying, trying to get away from him. And, Stone just seems to love the sound as much as the chase as it whimpers and cries. And, you know it's all animated, but boy, it's like a squeaky toy. It's just great. And the Rakshasa does something that he's never done before. He uses his magic instead of to harm/condition you and create the coat like he did on Stone, but to heal you. You're not used to your master with a loving touch. Those affections from this feline towards dogs is very unusual, and yet heal you he does, bringing you back to full health, and then restoring your exhaustion back to normal. Shadow becomes whole once more. And with it, he says something that you've only heard twice. Good dogs. And it's as if the words are difficult for him to even speak. And then he says, Stone, Shadow, to your rooms. And he sends you back to this area of stones and ledges where you're able to chew on things. There's a rope that was once attached to this massive hook in the ceiling that Stone had previously ripped off. And it's like this tug of war between giants as the two of you are able to return to your play and to your rest until your Rakshasa master decides exactly what he's going to do now that he can trace these interlopers who seek to get Cthulhu's will on their own, for he has his own plans. Wow, well done, well done. Good job, Stone and Shadow. And you know what? I do want to say this. I imagine that both Arya, Kitty Doe, as well as Alex will all be very grateful that you chose not to kill their characters, because those three kittens happen to be their characters from the previous one shot. The only one that died was actually the gentleman that stepped out of that game pretty quickly, which happened to be the wizard cat, because I was like, oh, you're all kittens. And he was like, no, I'm a wizard cat, and I do all this. And I was like, okay. So, okay, he was the one casting the spells on you. The rest had things. You, unfortunately, did not get to taste of... I forget what the character's name was. It was the orange cat that vomited something up underneath, who can stomach just about anything, but had learned to generate this acidic vomit, which, was going to be coming after you. The spell that you stepped on was cast by the wizard cat. That was something a little bit different. So, yeah. I was like, I'm not going to keep them alive. It's part of the game, but as well as Dan said, probably a good thing they didn't kill them. And if we ever do a one-shot crossover, who knows what that will look like. Maybe we'll end up having these one-shots back and forth. But one thing that I always do say is, while we're doing these one-shots, it's part of a living, breathing world. When that original group had theirs, they actually released, because Puppy Thulu was being brought in, and Cat Thulu was like, oh, no, I know what's happening, Sharon. And they came from this other continent, sent by Cat Thulu there to stop the rise of Puppy Thulu here. And they did so, but it also brought in Cat Thulu's presence, which, ironically, was your master's whole intent. Your master wanted Cat Thulu here, but couldn't do it directly. So indirectly, what he did was he summoned Cat Thulu's enemy, Puppy Thulu. Thus, Cthulhu became a regular thing in Sharn, which has all sorts of ramifications because you've created this godlike being, a godlike being that likes to toy with others, and released it into the world of Eberron. All because the players wanted to have a little fun. And now you guys haven't stopped it, but chosen a more manipulative entity. We didn't get a chance to really find out what those other humanoids wanted of Cthulhu. Maybe they were trying to banish Cthulhu. But that'll be a one-shot for another day. Did you have fun, guys?
I had a blast.
Outstanding. I really have a visualization for Stone now.
Yep.
You know, you may have missed a lot of earlier bites, but when you grab something, it's freaking epic, dude.
Well, next time I'll play with a standard sheet. I was playing with a disadvantage all night long.
You know, we just gotta like sit there and make up some stats for these guys and whatnot. But they had the same thing when we made theirs. Finally finished my paper and test and can finally participate. Oh. Woo! Freya, we just finished. They just everybody give a dog howl. I say everybody, and it's the DM alone. Well, welcome to a DM's life. Hey, Freya, sorry that you missed it, but you know what? There always is rewind and whatnot. I want to thank everybody for being part of our stream tonight, for making it so much fun, for the inspiration that was given, for the love that was given, for the laughter that was given. Will's dad, we missed your son here tonight, but you know, we trust that he's doing well as he gets back. Yeah, Will's dad bringing in his own howl. Yeah, showing his son up. I don't think I've ever heard your son howl on stream, so there you go. You got a chance to beat him out. Love it. Hey, from all of us here at Plot Points, I want to thank you for being part of the show. This is our Relics of Warcast Veterans. It's a veterans-only game, and we just have fun, you know, sometimes advancing in a different direction. I like that. You know what? It's a place of healing. It's a place of love, and turns out tonight it was a place of prayer. But whatever your table is, have a great time. Make it the best game possible. Make some amazing memories that you're going to take with you along your entire lifetime, whether it's kittens, puppies, howling at the table, or taking time to prioritize the real world and pray. Whatever it is, make some amazing memories. Happy gaming and God bless from all of us here at Relics of War. God bless, friends. Have a great night.